Hey guys and gals, and welcome to my first impressions of Dragon Age Inquisition, the third game to bear the Dragon Age name. So far, I've played a few hours and recorded every second of it. But instead of making you sit through each one of those seconds, let's skip straight to the highlights, starting with character creation. In similar fashion to the last two games, the process is relatively straightforward, as it should be. You cycle through choosing a gender, race, class, and begin putting a face together after a short cutscene. Building your appearance actually feels a lot easier than it did before thanks to a few modifications, which make fine-tuning of features more efficient in my opinion. The slight bump up in graphics doesn't hurt this either. And can I also just quickly say that it's good to see that they've brought back more races to choose from than just humans after Dragon Age 2, with the notable addition of being able to play Qunari, though I'm still curious to find out the reasons why a female Qunari can be warriors in this game, or the fact that you're able to play an unshackled Qunari mage. I also can't be the only one who thinks that the Qunari you play is oddly well spoken and expressive compared to the Qunari we've seen before.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
To be honest, the only real annoying part about setting up a new character is having to go through the process of setting up your Dragon Age Keep online, so that Dragon Age Inquisition can connect to that and pull all of the data from your previous characters. I understand this was introduced due to the next-gen consoles not having access to the previous game saves, but it is a lot of hassle for what it is at its core, especially when the Keep wouldn't import any of my Dragon Age Origins characters and only recognize the existence of 2 out of 3 of my Dragon Age 2 characters, all of which had incorrect data about certain events. Fortunately though, the Keep allows you to correct those and rebuild your Dragon Age Origins history, taking a lot of choices into consideration, even seemingly minor ones, so that's a good point.
Was this vision true? What are we seeing?
I don't remember.
The story so far honestly hasn't really drawn me in, at least not to the extent the first two games would have by now. To provide a brief synopsis, there are mysterious tears in the veil to the Fade, allowing demons to run amok, and your character wakes up after falling out of a rift, with no memory and a mysterious mark which seems connected to these breaches. Most notably, the giant one in the sky, looming over all the lands. Although the mark seems to be killing him or her, it does seem to have the power to close these rifts. Interestingly, BioWare seemed to have taken a different approach with the introduction of the protagonist, which is one of mystery and intrigue, as you play an amnesiac sole survivor to a catastrophic event, who, funnily enough, seems to be the only one who can do anything to fix this mess. Also, unlike the previous two games, they seem to have opted out of any tragedy in the character's prologue, meaning it's harder to have any emotional connection to your own character. So far, my opinion of my Qunari character is kind of just that he's alright.
Don't ask me. I'm as baffled as you are.
Moving swiftly onto gameplay, the developers seem to have kept a lot of aspects the same as Dragon Age 2, although they've moved a few of the controls around to different parts of the controller, which I'm still getting used to. For the most part, that's fine, it happens, and I do understand why they had to move. For the first time, we get a jump feature, which means the attack button has moved from A to the right trigger on the Xbox, because it doesn't make sense to have your jump as your right trigger. Sadly, that also means they've changed how you attack. Ish. Because you can't mash your A button anymore, and mashing the trigger isn't as quick, and to be honest actually feels a little weird, you can now just hold down the trigger for a continuous attack. I don't think I like it. Dragon Age 2's attack setup felt more involving, logical, and natural. Your character also doesn't move towards the nearest enemy in the same way anymore, which is still taking some getting used to, as I swing and stab at the air where my foe used to be. Something else annoying about the new layout is that it puts the toggle to change which character you control on the D-pad instead of on the bumpers, which in my opinion does not make for quick changes while you're in the middle of battle. Sure, you could use the game's new tactical overview or the radial dial to pause the action and control the details of what everybody's doing, but it slows the pace. That may sound like a lot of hate in regards to gameplay, but those are just a few issues in the grand scheme of things. This game is still fun and easy to play so far, but it definitely has some faults in my eyes.
I hope there's a damn good punchline coming.
Obviously, I haven't gathered the full array of companions yet, however the ones I have encountered so far are actually surprisingly likable. I think it was a smart move incorporating Varric, a companion from Dragon Age 2, very early on in the game, as well as introducing Cassandra as a companion. Yet another familiar face present throughout the second game for those of you who have not played it. I'd say because of this, I feel less of an expectation for new party members to live up to the old ones we've had. Solus, the only stranger, so far comes across as noble and intelligent, yet manages to feel a little laid back. It's all around a pleasant group, and I'm really looking forward to meeting more companions. In fact, I wish there was at least one more earlier on. Although, that being said, I do worry about finally recruiting the arse of the group. Because, let's admit it, we know there's going to be at least one. As you can see, the graphics do seem to be a noticeable improvement over the previous games, and in many regards that's true. The environments so far are quite wonderful to be in, especially when you consider how a lot of the landscapes are far more traversable now, and what I've seen of the various characters and outfits appear to be well constructed. In fact, the only real letdowns are Cassandra's eyebrows. And those moments when you can see things like people's clothing taking their sweet time to render. Overall, Dragon Age Inquisition hasn't quite lived up to what I wanted just yet, but that doesn't mean I'm counting it out. It does show the promise of being a good game, or even potentially a great game, with an expansive universe that just hasn't quite opened up yet. At least not where I currently am in the game. The bait is there, but I just haven't quite managed to get the hook. I may not be as happy with it as I wanted to be, but I'm still enjoying it just enough to where I'm looking forward to diving back into the universe and seeing where this adventure takes me before any final judgments. And with all that said, I hope you geeks and gamers have an awesome day. Also, if you ever play this game, please let me know what you think of it, because I would love to hear what you have to say about it.